New Year's Eve has always made me uneasy, even before this happened. Everyone talks about fresh starts, new beginnings, leaving the past behind. But that night taught me something different. Sometimes the year doesn't want to let you go. Sometimes it follows you right up to midnight. This happened on December 31st, 2021. I was working late, closing up a small event venue on the edge of town. It wasn't glamorous, just a rented hall. People used for parties when they didn't want to deal with neighbors or noise complaints. By the time I finished locking up, it was already after 11:20 p.m. Fireworks were popping in the distance, echoing through the cold air like distant gunshots. The parking lot was empty, except for my car and one other vehicle parked near the far fence. I didn't remember seeing it when I arrived, but I told myself it belonged to someone from an earlier event who'd forgotten to pick it up. As I walked toward my car, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. No name, just a message that read, "Don't leave yet." I stopped walking. I checked the time, 11:32 p.m. Another firework exploded overhead, lighting up the lot in red and white flashes. I turned slowly, scanning the building, the fence, the parked car. No movement. I typed back, "Who is this?" The reply came instantly. "You won't make it home before midnight." My stomach dropped. I unlocked my car and got inside, locking the doors immediately. As I started the engine, the radio turned on by itself, blasting static. Beneath the crackling noise, I could hear cheering. Crowds counting down, towards voices overlapping, distorted like they were underwater. Then the cheering stopped. A single voice came through the speakers, calm and clear. 10 minutes, it said. The clock on my dashboard flicked to 11:50 p.m. And that's when I realized something was very wrong. Because my phone buzzed again, and this time the message said, "We need you here when the year ends." I turned the radio off so hard my finger hurt, but the silence that followed felt worse. The parking lot lights hummed faintly overhead, flickering like they were struggling to stay on. My phone buzzed again in my hand, the screen lighting up the dark interior of the car. Another message. "Don't ignore us." I threw the car into reverse and backed out fast, tires squealing against the pavement. As I turned toward the exit, my headlights swept across the far fence and froze on something that made my chest seize. The other car in the lot wasn't empty anymore. Someone was sitting in the driver's seat now, perfectly still, their face pressed so close to the windshield it looked flattened against the glass. I couldn't make out features, just a pale oval and two dark pits where eyes should have been. I hit the brakes, heart hammering. The person didn't move, didn't blink, just stared. My phone buzzed again. "They can see you now." The engine suddenly stalled. The dashboard went black. No lights, no radio, no clock. The fireworks in the distance seemed to fade, like someone had turned the volume of the world down. I tried the ignition again and again, but the key felt loose, useless. That's when I heard knocking. Not on my door, on the roof of the car. Slow, deliberate. 3 knocks, then silence, then 3 more. I looked up instinctively, even though I knew I wouldn't see anything through the metal ceiling. My breath fogged the windshield as the temperature inside the car dropped sharply. I could see it now, my own breathing, like I was sitting outside in the dead of winter. The knocking moved, down the rear window, then the passenger side, following me, testing the car. My phone lit up again, and this time the screen didn't show a message. It showed a live video feed. My stomach dropped when I realized what it was. The camera angle was wrong, too high, too far back. It was showing me, sitting in my car, from behind. A second figure stepped into frame behind my vehicle, then a third, then more, emerging from the darkness around the lot, all moving toward me as the video timer ticked closer to midnight. 11:57 p.m. The engine suddenly roared back to life on its own, and every single figure on the screen snapped their heads toward the camera at the exact same time. I slammed my foot on the gas the second the engine came back, but the car didn't move. The tires spun uselessly, screeching against the pavement like they were stuck in mud instead of asphalt. On my phone screen, the figures kept coming closer, their movements jerky and uneven like puppets pulled by invisible strings. They didn't rush. They didn't need to. They knew I wasn't going anywhere. The clock on the dashboard flickered back on. 11:58 p.m. The radio burst to life again without warning, louder than before. A crowd began counting down, thousands of voices overlapping, distorted and warped. 10, 9, 8. Their voices echoed inside my skull, vibrating through my bones. Outside the car, I finally saw them, with my own eyes. They stood just beyond the headlights now, half lit, half swallowed by darkness. Men, women, shapes that looked almost human but not quite right. Their smiles were too wide. Their eyes reflected the light like animals caught on the road at night. One of them stepped forward and placed their hand flat against my windshield. The glass frosted instantly beneath their palm, spider webs of ice spreading outward. I could see their mouth moving, forming words I couldn't hear over the radio. I didn't need to hear them to understand. "You stay." My phone buzzed again. The live video feed vanished, replaced by a message. "We need someone to mark the end." The countdown continued. 7, 6, 5. The air inside the car grew heavier, harder to breathe. My chest felt crushed, like invisible hands were pressing down on me from every direction. Shapes began appearing in the rear-view mirror, faces pressed close to the back window, breath fogging the glass from the outside in. Fingers traced slow, deliberate lines through the condensation, drawing symbols I didn't recognize. 4, 3. The person at the windshield leaned closer, their face sliding out of the shadows. Their features shifted unnaturally, like they couldn't decide what they were supposed to look like. Their mouth opened impossibly wide, and I finally heard their voice. Not through the radio, but inside my head. "Stay with us. Start the year right." 2,